is it ethical to be a billionaire?
To start off with some background, this deals with the applied ethics field of distribution of wealth, and we will be using utilitarianism as our normative ethic.
There is material from both Peter Singer and John Stuart Mill that deal with utilitarianism that we can relate to our topic.
There are two main issues we'll be discussing today. Firstly, is it unethical to have that much money and not do anything productive with it?
Secondly, is there an ethical way to even get to the point of being a billionaire?
Here we have Ben, a self-made billionaire, Owen, a born billionaire, and myself, Finn, your average farmer.
Ah, what a beautiful day in my lovely mansion. Nothing could make my day better.
Master Owen, your parents have died. You inherited 43 billions. Oh, I'm so sorry for your loss.
What loss? Oh!
Never mind.
Speak of the devil. My day was made so much better just now.
How do you want them buried?
Oh, donate their bodies to science. It's cheaper than a funeral, after all. I'm going to use all this money by keeping it frozen solid in assets.
Now, there is some contention as to whether or not Owen is being ethical here, not including the parents' part. That one's pretty obvious. But specifically the fact that he has all of this money and isn't going to help anyone with it.
Do you want to donate to a charity that saves children's lives? Each dollar spent is a child saved from the infinite lava pit.
No.
Are you kidding? There are 43 billion of them. You have just enough money to save each one of them. The public will be outraged if you don't give them anything.
You may be right, but they're so far away. It's not like they know me or that my money exists.
Now, this is very similar to a case that Peter Singer talks about in his 5-page excerpt. Singer gives the example of a child on a train track. On the other side, there's a Bugatti a man named Kevin has just bought. Anyone would argue that it would be unethical to let the child die on the train track in favor of keeping the Bugatti safe. However, Singer argues that no matter our distance from the situation, there's always going to be a child in need somewhere. So it is unethical to ever spend money unnecessarily when it could be spent saving children.
You know that Peter Singer guy? I think you should follow what he thinks. You may be so far away from them and they may not know you, but you can still help them. They're in need. Freezing your money or keeping it for yourself is unethical.
Huh. Maybe you're wrong. If I were to follow his beliefs to a T, it would be impossible for me to ever know what is the most ethical choice. Alongside that, if almost everything is unethical, what is the point in trying to value being ethical when most everything everyone does is unethical?
Then tell me exactly why you think that's true. I'd like to hear some evidence.
Well, the other day I was scrolling on this article from the Prindle Post called In Defense of Space Tourism for Billionaires. And now, I think that applies to me because I'm a billionaire right now. Anyways, this article supports my argument that we can never know what is the most ethical choice to make. For instance, what would be the most valuable child to save? It's a ridiculous question, and if we zoom in on it infinitely, making an ethical choice seems, frankly, impossible.
Okay, but it really sounds like you're just dodging the responsibility that comes with wealth. If you hide behind the idea that we can never know the most ethical choice, then we're just excusing ourselves from doing anything at all. With Singer's point, it is not about finding the most perfect or the most valuable course of action. It's acknowledging that even with all the gray area, we still have the power to help those in need. We don't need to do the best thing, we just need to do something.
I would argue that under Singer's ideas that he would disagree with you. We must make the most ethical choice possible. So, in which case, what charity could help me save the most children? Which children are the most valuable to save? Again, this gets to my point of when you further inquire increasingly more upon what is the most ethical choice, you realize that there may never even be a most ethical choice.
I really believe it is a shame that you are willing to make so many excuses to let these children burn to a crisp. It does not matter if there is a most ethical choice, but there's a more ethical choice. And for Singer, that is helping these children. Simply doing nothing would do less for the children than helping them. Ignoring that opportunity to act means consciously choosing to allow their suffering. If every small action could reduce the smallest amount of suffering, why not try?
Did I ever ask you to speak in the first place?
Well, come on. Ugh, I wish I were back at my farm. Man, this sucks. I've been working all day. I'm paid only by the amount of time I spend working. Even then, it's only 1 wheat seed an hour. At least I have food. Bathroom breaks? I lose money. Lunch? I lose money. I've been starving myself and peeing in bottles. There seems to be no way out, especially 'cause of him.
What a lovely day in my mansion. The one I've built by myself, with my money that I earned.
Oh no! The farm just blew up! What do I do? Oh, I need to go see Ben.
Oh dear, that looks ugly. My workers will figure it out.
Master Ben?
Who said that?
Me, Finn the farmer, down here.
Oh, hello, Farmer 24601. Why are you here?
We, the farmers, had something we wanted to tell you.
No more unionizing. You know it is a huge thorn in my side.
No, not that. Just yet.
Oh, does this have to do with that explosion?
Yes, we need your help.
Figure it out yourself. I have money counting to do. Maybe use that old dirt hut.
But we farmers have something we need to talk about.
Go on.
It's not going to be very nice for you to hear.
Spit it out!
You profit too much off of us. We think it's inherently wrong that all the value we provide for your company is practically given to you. We think that the value we provide for your company should be returned to us as wages, and that it is unfair that you get our surplus labor value simply from just having enough money to start the company in the first place and just sit there.
This sounds like union. I will be forced to union bust you all.
Wait, isn't that illegal?
Not if I do it well enough. I have more money than you after all, so I am the one with better resources to bend the law to my will.
Well, it isn't a union, just we have some arguments we'd like to make as to why it is unethical for you to profit off of us like this.
Well, you can go ahead and try to make the argument. I will not be considering it.
Well, firstly, any money that you make, which is a lot, is made off of our surplus labor.
And
And we think that this is unfair, at least to the extent that you do it. All that money you make doesn't go back to the company or the society you profit off of.
what are you talking about? I've always helped the company out, and I've helped by donating to certain charities.
The money that you donate is marginal compared to the amount you make. For it to be ethical, you would need to actually help communities or your workers.
Why don't I just donate more then?
Why even take from them in the first place at that point? Remove yourself, the middleman, from the equation. Your money just stagnates, while if us workers were given more, we could make the money be in circulation in the real economy. In this house, take your house. John Stuart Mill is a good friend of mine, and he tells me about unearned increments. That's when you earn more value on something like your house, but you have done none of the work.
I guess that sounds familiar, but the work I did was actually creating the business.
So then you deserve profit for that work only, not the rest. You didn't do any of the rest. You know, I read this article on whether or not billionaires should give back to the societies that they profit so much off of, and this quote really stood with me. The conditions of Bezos' own employees have been raked over in the news for years, creating a contrast between his wealth and the conditions of employees that allow his fortune to amass. Amazon floor workers have been reported to resorting to sleeping in tents in the warehouses in which they work and urinating in bottles in order to meet work quotas. Amazon is one of the country's top employers whose employees receive food stamps. When those under Bezos' direct influence are living in such conditions, his recent philanthropic announcement seems hypocritical or a media grab. The philanthropic work that you do just does not compare with the harm that you cause, which brings me to an argument that John Stuart Mill made.
And what would that be?
John Stuart Mill was credited with the creation of utilitarianism, which is a relatively simple idea that the most ethical decision is the one in which the most people are benefited the most. Under this idea, the harm you cause to others is completely disproportionate to the benefits that you give.
Ah, Finn, you bring up utilitarianism as if it's the ultimate measure of ethics. However, you truly, thoroughly examined its flaws. Utilitarianism oversimplifies human values It is prone to reducing the complexity of life to mere calculations of pleasure and pain. You say I should give more to help the greatest number, but who decides what the greatest is, and who ultimately gets that help? This approach to ethics takes away individual autonomy by reducing people's worth into crude equation. Furthermore, utilitarianism assumes that every act of generosity or charity is inherently good, but in practice, it can lead to dangerous expectations. Utilitarianism offers no real limits to what is ethical or not. Utilitarianism only offers an impossible mandate to maximize benefit indefinitely. And consider this, Finpour. Utilitarianism erases individual rights in favor of the so-called greater good. Who's to say that such a philosophy won't demand more sacrifice from others, even if they themselves don't benefit directly? My profits fuel advancements, and my investments create new opportunities. By reducing my success to mere utility, you deny the value of risk, innovation, and the choice of every person to pursue their own visions of success.
Those are all good points, but I still think that is unethical what you're doing. I guess we just agree to disagree then.
Good. And nothing changes for you. Agreed.
I guess goodbye.
Yes. Leave now. No!
I hope these scenarios helped you to envision these philosophical arguments vividly.
And that you now have the information to make educated choices for yourself.
So we leave the question up to you. Is it ethical to be a billionaire?